Hello everyone, and welcome. I'm excited to kick off today's presentation with the topic of sentence structure. On this first slide, I want to briefly introduce what we'll be exploring together. We'll look at the fundamentals of how sentences are built, discuss different types of sentence structures, and see how they can improve our communication. So, let's get started and enjoy the journey into the fascinating world of sentence structure. Now, let's take a closer look at some useful expressions to talk about events that happen very close together in time. First, we have the structure, hardly had plus subject plus V3 plus when plus clause. This is used to describe situations where something happens immediately after another event. For example, hardly had he arrived when the meeting started. It emphasizes how quickly one event follows another, almost instantly. Next, there's the phrase, subject plus had every reason to plus verb. This expression helps us talk about situations where someone has a justified feeling or action. For example, she had every reason to feel upset. It shows that their feelings or reactions are completely understandable given the circumstances. Both of these constructions help us add nuance and clarity when describing events and reactions in a narrative. They are especially useful for making our storytelling more precise and expressive, which ties directly into the overall theme of mastering complex sentence structures for better communication. Let's take a closer look at some advanced vocabulary that can really enhance your language skills. First, we have intriguing, which means something that is very interesting and catches your attention. It's a great word to describe stories, ideas, or even people that spark curiosity. Next is reluctant, meaning unwilling or hesitant to do something. We often feel reluctant when we're unsure or not fully ready to take action. Moving on, chaos refers to complete disorder or confusion. It's often used to describe situations that are out of control or messy. Then dilemma, which is a difficult situation where you have to choose between two or more options, often with no clear good solution. Tremendous is a powerful word meaning very great or enormous, something that makes a big impact. Isolated describes being separated from others, often highlighting loneliness or physical distance. Desperate means hopelessly needing help or feeling extremely anxious to find a solution. We also have astonished, which expresses being greatly surprised or amazed by something unexpected. Persistent describes someone who continues firmly despite challenges, showing determination. Lastly, vulnerable means easily hurt or susceptible to harm, often emphasizing a need for protection. Understanding and using these words can really add depth and nuance to your language. They connect to the overall theme of effective communication and expanding your vocabulary for more expressive conversations. Now, let's take a closer look at some common phrasal verbs and their meanings. These are essential because they help us communicate more naturally in everyday English. For example, bring about means to cause something to happen, which is often used in discussions about changes or results. Another useful one is brush aside, which means to ignore something or dismiss it without giving it much thought. If you need to cancel an event, you might say you will call off the plans. When someone comes through, it means they survive or succeed after a difficult situation. Conversely, if something falls apart, it means it collapses emotionally or physically, like a project or even a person's composure. Get across is about communicating clearly, making sure your message is understood. To hold on to something means to keep it firmly, whether it's a physical object or an emotional hold on your beliefs. If you're facing tough times, you might need to pull through and recover from difficulties. When things stabilize, you settle down, becoming calm and steady again. To stand out means to be noticeable or different from the rest, which can be useful in a competitive environment. Sometimes, a leader might step down, meaning they resign or leave their position. Work out is a versatile phrase. It can mean to solve a problem or to end successfully. Overall, these phrasal verbs are not just vocabulary. They're tools that help us express nuanced ideas more effectively in conversation. Imagine a man standing alone on a bridge at night, with the city lights shimmering beautifully on the river below. This image really captures how we perceive scenes based on context and lighting. When we look at pictures like this, our brains are doing a lot of work to interpret what we see, focusing on the details, the mood, and the story behind the image. It's important to recognize that perception isn't just about raw visual data. It's about how our minds fill in gaps and interpret what's in front of us. For example, the darkness of the night and the reflection of city lights can evoke feelings of solitude or introspection. In the context of our overall theme, this slide reminds us that perception is a complex process influenced by environment, lighting, and personal experience. It's not just about what's in front of us, but how we interpret it. This understanding helps us appreciate the deeper layers of visual communication and how images can evoke emotion and meaning beyond their surface. As I look at this scene, I see a man standing on a bridge, deeply lost in thought. The atmosphere around him feels calm, almost peaceful, but there's something emotionally intriguing about his expression that hints at inner turmoil or reflection. It's as if he's completely isolated from the busy world below, disconnected from the chaos of daily life. Then, as the rain begins to fall, the streets below start to turn chaotic. Despite the noise and commotion of the city, this man remains silent, almost as if he's holding onto a fading memory or trying to process something difficult. What's really striking here is that, despite feeling exhausted, probably from recent struggles, he makes a conscious effort to stay composed. It's a powerful reminder that even when life throws us into serious dilemmas, we often try to maintain our inner strength and dignity. This scene ties into our overall theme of resilience and introspection, showing how sometimes we need moments of solitude to reflect and gather ourselves, especially in challenging times. At one point, he appeared reluctant to move, almost as if he feared what awaited him ahead. The pressure surrounding him was tremendous, yet he refused to completely fall apart. The reflection of lights on the river created a strangely peaceful atmosphere. It seemed that the quiet night itself was helping him settle down emotionally. Eventually, the man gathered enough courage to move forward. Although he looked emotionally vulnerable, there was still determination visible in his eyes. Perhaps he knew that difficult times would eventually pass, and that he would somehow pull through. So, what we see here is a pivotal moment in Rohan's journey. He's always been seen as calm and intelligent, right? But life threw him a curveball with an unexpected job loss, and that completely changed him. It's a reminder that even the most composed people can face moments of vulnerability. That rainy evening, he finds himself at this old bridge overlooking the city river. The reflection of the bright lights on the water creates this oddly captivating scene. Yet, beneath that beautiful surface, Rohan feels emotionally isolated, almost alone in his struggles. As he reaches the center of the bridge, the rain suddenly intensifies. Cars rush past him below, and the city starts to descend into chaos. It's almost symbolic, how chaos can emerge suddenly when we're at our most vulnerable. For weeks, Rohan has been trying everything he can to find a new opportunity, leaving no stone unturned. Despite his efforts, nothing seems to work out. His friends try to offer support, but he often brushes them aside, perhaps feeling overwhelmed or disconnected. Deep inside, he knows he's close to breaking down emotionally. But what's inspiring is that he still makes a conscious effort to stay hopeful. He refuses to give up entirely because he understands that tough times can sometimes lead to unexpected change. This story highlights a key point that aligns with our overall theme, resilience. Even when faced with adversity, maintaining hope and perseverance can open doors to new possibilities. It's about understanding that challenges, no matter how difficult, can sometimes be the catalyst for growth and transformation. As I stood quietly near the railing, I was suddenly approached by an elderly stranger. His calm voice immediately cut through the silence, and he gently said, "You seem troubled." At first, I was reluctant to share anything, feeling unsure about opening up. But after a few moments of silence, I slowly started to talk about my struggles. The old man listened patiently and then shared some wise words. He reminded me that life often tests us before it rewards us, and that failures don't define who we are unless we choose to let them. Those words really made a difference in how I saw things. Gradually, I began to settle down emotionally. Months later, I managed to start my own small business. Looking back, I realized that the painful night on that bridge actually helped me get through one of the darkest periods of my life. And in the end, I learned that courage isn't about not feeling afraid. It's about making the decision to keep moving forward, even when fear is present. Thank you so much for your time and attention today. I really appreciate you joining me for this presentation. I hope the key points we've covered have given you a clear understanding of the topic and how it all connects to the broader picture. Remember, the main ideas are about innovation, collaboration, and continuous improvement. These are the pillars that can truly make a difference in our work and our results. If you take away anything from today, I hope it's that embracing these concepts can lead to meaningful progress. Again, thank you for being here and for your engagement. I look forward to seeing how you apply these insights moving forward.